the Board of Appeals to order. We'll start right down. We've got 3 members, so we have a quorum. I guess at this point, we should decide whether we want to approve the agenda. I don't know what it means if we don't, but, so I'll accept any motions to that regard.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll
10
second.
minutes.
All in favor? Take your vote.
Aye.
All right, so it should be a vote. Getting there.
Oh, we'll do a voice vote for
All
the
right.
agenda.
Oh, sounds good. Okay, we'll move on to approval of the minutes from the last meeting, the May meeting. Any comments or questions regarding the minutes? If not, we can have a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right, that's taken care of. So gentlemen, were any of you out to see the properties that we have before us tonight?
I was not.
Stop.
Nobody, all right? Did you speak with anyone regarding the requests before us tonight?
Was not.
I did not.
Nope. And at this point, do you believe you will need to recuse yourself from any of the items that we'll be voting on tonight?
No.
Nope. If you change your mind, you can. That's not the final decision. All right. Are we ready to roll?
I am in.
You're in?
Yes.
I'm gonna try and approve the minutes here. We got a voice vote for approving the minutes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Good. All right, without further ado, I guess we can get going. Are the Ortegas here? Item number 1? I'll hold that in advance. Move on to number 2.
Hold on.
Oh, there you go. We're set.
Yeah.
Yep,
Just grab
have a
some-
seat. Okay, if you could make your case for why you believe you need a variance on what you're proposing? Okay, let me get to that part. All right, I got you. You're at Harold. You've got a, you want to put some space in your driveway to the side for parking. All right. And the argument that you're making is that you need space to move cars, to park cars, there's just not enough room, you've got, I guess I'm doing the talking for you, but you've got a narrow driveway, and you wanna get some more space,
Yes.
without having to do the shuffle. All right. Yes, I understand. You guys have any questions?
Based on the photo, it appears that the parking space that they are proposing is going to block the primary front entrance to the home.
Right. Was that explained to you, that that is a concern that we have?
Yeah.
It's been explained to us more than once that there are good reasons why the city has proposed the ordinance that they have. So we'll have to take that into consideration. Do you have any questions, Tom?
I mean, the only thing I was gonna just clarify was that part of what you guys were expanding on, one of the things is a patio, correct? That is not for parking? Is that correct? But the parking itself, so in this document here, the expansion that you're talking about from a parking perspective goes and it starts and ends with the door, correct? Yeah.
So we've really got 2 things that you're asking for. There's the widening of the driveway and then the patio in the front. We may consider those separate.
Yeah, this is only for that's all. That's only the space for extra space for parking.
Mhm.
That's it.
So in this picture here, I don't know, is that one available? So what you're putting in is the expansion of the driveway this way as a line, but also concrete for concrete patio,
Yes.
correct? Is there a variance opportunity with the patio think it's just the expansion problem.
I don't think the patio presents a problem, it's probably more or less in conjunction with the driveway expansion.
Yeah, so there really isn't a variance needed regarding that.
Yeah, okay.
All right, do we have any questions of the applicants beyond what we've discussed so far? All right, you could have a seat, we'll talk this over amongst ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, this is the problem that we have with a lot of these, The door's on the wrong side of the house. Yeah, I don't know, I guess at this point, we've been through this enough times that I think I know which way I'd have to consider my vote.
Yeah. Is there an opportunity for, like, an educational opportunity prior to us getting these appeals and saying, like, the city council is pretty much guided and directed, this is what it is, and they
Well-
still have to opt in to appeal, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they always
pretty,
have the choice to apply. We do talk to them at the counter if we have a chance. Sometimes they just come in blindly, but if we do talk to them, we try and let them know. But we don't want to give them any indication that maybe it's approved or denied, but
Yeah.
and they still should be able to apply. And
You're kind of caught in the middle
yeah, I
there.
mean, each case is unique, but we do have some knowledge of past comments from police and fire and their thoughts as well.
yeah. Okay. I mean, motion to deny the variance as requested.
A second?
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Erman, seconded by Mr. Hoy to deny the variance requests of the Ortegas on Harold Street. Further discussion? All in favor? All-
Aye.
All in favor of the motion, say yes.
Aye.
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 And we vote yes. Got it.
Just so you're aware, we're kind of in a bind on this. The city has made it very clear to us that there are good reasons for the reason they have the ordinance. So we're going to be inclined to vote against any variance requests that put parking in front of the main door. So that's the reason why we're denying the variance. Okay. You got it?
I will.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
That is a solve.
That is the position they're in. All right, we'll move on to the next item.
Around the corner.
So let me get back to where I need to be here. Okay, Mr. Austin, is he here?
Evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Hello.
So can you make your case for the variance you need?
Simply, we bought a camper 25 years ago. We put a small camper pad in. It's in front of the house. Yeah, that pretty much shows it. We bought a slightly larger camper about 3 months ago, and my request is to extend the width of the camper pad about a foot. And I was going to ask that it bring it up about 15 feet, but I was told that we would need to bring it all the way up to the street. So it's basically to extend the concrete from the back of the existing camper pad to the street and to widen the existing pad by a foot. We can't put it very realistically in back of the front offset because our backyard drops about 8.5 feet from the front yard to the back. And I'm told that we need, the gentleman I was talking to said we would need about, I think it's 3 feet between any concrete and the property line. And the distance between our house and the corner of the next house is 16 feet, so it would be, if you split the property line about in half, the concrete, if it was 9 feet wide, would extend into the neighbor's property. So basically, we're hoping to be able to extend the camper pad so both wheels will fit on the concrete, because it's about 18 inches wider and about 4 feet longer than the smaller camper that we had previously. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Is that the situation, Paul, that he has to go all the way? He can't just make his existing pad a little bigger?
I don't think that's the case here, no. I mean, you could go down and to where the sidewalk section would be, and you can widen out up to 25 feet, but it's not a requirement. You can taper it back in, I'm sure.
Like I said, that was my
That was the way you understood it, that you needed to go all the way to the street?
Yeah, the gentleman I was talking with, Chad, who was extremely helpful. I had at first sent him a diagram extending this about 7 to 9 feet, so it would be easier to back the trailer in, but he said that as far as he understood it, we would have to take the concrete all the way to the street. If I'm able to get the variance and I don't have to put that much concrete down, that saves me money, and I'm a happy person. Or should I say a happy camper?
Yeah.
Unintended,
Good,
sorry.
good, good. All right, so your situation is that you have a pad now, you have a camper now. Or with an older camper you had a situation where you parked it out there regularly.
Mhm. And it was smaller, it fit on the pad very nicely, the wheels didn't stick off to the side.
Right. Now you've got one that's probably, if you leave it with that pad, you're going to have some ruts or mud, or you're not gonna be able to put it maybe there at all. But the problem is you've got a bigger camper,
Yes,
so you need a bigger pad.
yes, sir. That wraps it up very nicely.
But you still are proposing to park things in the front setback. Just so I understand the situation. This is something you've done in the past.
Yes, I'm not sure when the current ordinance was put in place, but we bought a camper 25 or 26 years ago. We had the small pad that you see there put in place, and we had parked the camper there for years. And the gentleman I was talking to also noted that we left it parked past November, and we got a citation for parking it over winter, but I understand that ordinance is now rescinded, so anyway, that's neither here nor there, but yes, we have parked it on that area for quite some time.
Okay, well, the interpretations of the ordinance we'll leave to the Paul and his planning staff. We will try to interpret, as we understand the ordinance, to your request.
Sounds fair.
So I guess maybe I'm the only one that's concerned, Paul, but he doesn't really need to go to the street. But he is nevertheless proposing something that is in the front setback?
Well, the whole issue is he is widening the driveway 2 feet beyond, more than 2 feet beyond the garage door opening. That's really the key issue here. So he could widen the drive down to 25 if it's shown, but it's not critical. It could stop somewhere short and just have to be tapered back into the driveway.
Okay, so everything he's proposed is okay, except he's going outside the 2 feet from the...
Right, so the way around that typically is you'd go back behind the setback. You'd have a parking spot that'll lead behind the setback or to the side of the building, if you had enough room to do that. I don't know if he does here or not.
No.
Okay, I understand that a little better.
As I mentioned, from the front of the house, where the garage is, to the back of the house, which I believe is 31 feet, there is a 7 to 8 foot drop, because we have a walkout basement, and the landscaping is, we're at the tail end of a subdivision, and they basically backed in all the fill and then tapered.
Okay. Questions, Tom or Tommy?
Just to clarify, that what's under consideration is with respect to the setback variance. We're not dealing with anything with respect to a camper being parked in front of the building, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're asking the question that I was, because it has two variances, which is basically indirectly approving parking in the front yard.
Right.
We were talking about this kind of last meeting, right? We had a couple variances that were the same thing, that the parking in the front, and they were widening the driveway.
Because it doesn't lead to a parking spot behind the setback, that's one. The other one is widening beyond the garage door more than 2 feet.
Right. Yeah. I don't,
Okay.
I understand.
You
I don't have any
understand?
questions, do you?
No, okay.
Okay. Sir, if you could have a seat,
Thank you.
we'll deliberate quietly amongst ourselves. So, this is another one we've seen before.
Yeah. This one presents, for me, because I've been more of a stickler, I think, against things like this. But because doing on the side, again, I'm not there, so I don't know if that's accurate, but being able to go on the side, a slope on the side of the house, to me is a hardship in the sense of how the landscape is, that you can't go on the side of the building to make the thing park on the side. Forget the width for a second, even if you had the width. You know, parking it on a slope probably is not a great thing.
Right.
So I'm more apt, because I feel like that, the landscape is
We've granted variances in the past with respect to the topology of the landscape.
correct. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm okay. This is a situation where there's been a pad there, obviously.
Yeah.
It shows there's a pad there, there's been a practice of parking something there. The neighbors are not gonna be surprised, they should be, if anything, maybe happy about it, so.
When he included that in here, where he said his neighbors are.
Yep. So I think we're in agreement, motion would be in order.
Make a motion to approve the variance as requested.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Hoy, seconded by Mr. Everman to approve the variance as presented to us regarding the property on Kennedy Drive. All in further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye. And we vote yes.
oh, you're good.
Oh, sorry.
You got your variance.
Now, the question,
Can I ask one question?
Yep.
Can I apply for the building permit now?
Yes.
just to clarify for him though, he can revise his plan though and not go all the way to the front,
Sure.
correct?
Yeah.
So remember you were saying about not going all the way to the front? I would partner with him again and look at what you actually should do,
Mhm.
because you don't have to go all the way to the street. So it'll save you, you'd be a happier camper.
Yes, I will be. Thank you, gentlemen, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Next, we have Mr. Jennings.
Tag along.
Very good.
This is Diane Stelmach, principal at Martin Luther King Elementary.
All right.
What we have here is a sign, an additional sign, because it's got some writing on it. Basically what it is the logo of Martin Luther King Elementary now, with insignias of their engineering aspects that they teach. A lot of the Green Bay schools all over the state are now going to specialty schools. And Diane and her staff created a new logo that we are going to cover up the decorative drive-it on their gables. This would be just an aluminum covering over that drive-it, not illuminated. It won't affect the neighborhood in any way, shape, or form. It's just going to add a nice touch to the school is what it's going to do. But it has more lettering. It has lettering on it. I was told that if it didn't have lettering, it'd be no problem. It would be considered artwork.
Okay.
But the school does want to, it doesn't have the full name, the Martin Luther King Elementary. It just says King Elementary on there. That's the bottom, say Children's Center for Engineering.
Okay. Makes sense to me, but I'm one. So you guys have any questions regarding this?
Just what's the specific variance, like,
There's two of them, number of signs on the building, they're about one per street frontage, and the size is no greater than 32 square feet. So those are being exceeded.
got it. So if it was smaller, we're good.
From one perspective, sure, there's still a number of signs.
Right, but I'm saying from the square foot, the lettering being an issue is because of the size.
No,
But if it was shrunk, then the lettering would be okay?
no.
Is that-
Basically what we're doing, see, the covers on the gables, those black circles,
Yep.
that is just drive-it material.
Yep.
We just want to cover that up.
Yeah,
Okay, we were thinking of doing both at one time, and the school said, no, we just want to do the one at their main entrance where this is.
yeah. Yeah,
So which one is that? then? Is that the left or right side?
That would be the north side, the left side as you're looking at the school, yes.
I'm confused.
You're doing the same sign on both?
No,
There
Just
aren't
one.
gonna be
when,
two.
when we did this, when we originally did this artwork, we
Okay.
had two of them up there, and they decided just to do the one, and we're gonna do the one on the left side of the.
Okay,
Where's
so,
the main
so then
entrance?
they're okay regarding the number.
I still think there's other signage on the building.
There is,
Ah,
there's some
okay.
letters in the
Okay.
middle between the two gables,
Oh,
non-illuminated,
yeah, gotcha. All right.
non-illuminated aluminum letters.
Got it,
Got it.
okay.
And that, even though it's announcing that it's the school, that's a sign. so. Questions? Do you have it? I think we got it. If you could-
Okay.
If you could sit down, we'll deliberate amongst ourselves.
Thank
It's not intrusive at all.
No, it's not intrusive.
It makes it,
I think it's fine.
yeah.
All right.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Everman to approve the variance requested regarding the sign at Martin Luther School. Mr. Boyd has seconded that motion. Further discussion? We shall vote on the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for the benefit of the audience, we recognize that sign ordinances are difficult, and we are inclined as a group generally to be relatively tolerant of proposals regarding signs unless they are very obstructive or obtrusive or generally not very good. Next item would be Mike Pfeiffer. Beautiful Savior Lutheran Church, Peckerland.
Mike is muted. I'm Mike Larson, I'm the council chairman of the church.
Okay. You could explain to us what you need and why you need it.
Okay, we, for over a year now, have been trying to expand. If you look at the top part, you see our parking lot, which is on the south side of the building. We've been trying to expand the parking lot to go up the hill, straight in line with the parking lot that we now have. The little area with the little grassy part there at the top center, our initial plan was to move all the dirt to the north, kind of just level it off and put a parking lot. It would still slope down a little bit, but we would be pretty level with the land. Topography, well, that was deemed wetland by the DNR, so we can't go that way. So our second proposal was to keep the parking lot as we had initially proposed, but the middle area there now is a bioretention area, which would collect the water, and then it would exit through piping to the east, so it wouldn't mess with the wetland. Well, to do that, we had to change the topography of the parking lot, and we had to come down, because everything now flows to the middle, to that kind of a elongated H that you see there. Everything flows to the middle from all directions and then still exits to the east. All right, in doing that, the slope coming from the street on the south side, I can't think of the name of it right now, where our second drive would be, if we put it under the normal guidelines, we would have a drive that would be challenging in the summer, impossible in the winter to get down to the parking lot. So the company who has been doing the work for us moved it as far to the east as they could, but it is less than the required distance where you can have two driveways. There's currently one, as you can see, right on the end there. The other one, well, there's one on the right end, and then the new one is where you see it kind of in the middle. If we move it too much further to the left, you'd have to have chains on your car in the winter to probably get in there. It's not a residential area. I mean, there are houses across the street, but the driveway would really only be used on Sundays or on church services. Every other business there could very well be handled by the current driveway, which is further to the east. So we're asking for mainly safety reasons, and we can move it.
And that's the variance, the only variance is the driveway,
Spacing.
the fact that there's two driveways and they're too close together.
And less than 200 feet.
If we can't have this, we already have incurred an additional $50,000 approximately because we can't move it north, we have to do the new design. Our next option could possibly go north, but then we're incurring even more cost than what we already have.
Okay, questions, Tom or Tom? Okay, sir, if you could have a seat, we'll talk it over.
Thank you.
Thanks. Makes sense to me.
The concern is safety. So this has been looked at by traffic people and,
I didn't receive any comment from the
Yeah.
traffic engineer.
okay, so we have an ordinance that says they want the driveway, if you're gonna have two driveways, they have to be a certain number of feet apart, and principally that's because of presumably safety and visibility.
Whether they're multifamily, commercial, or industrial, they have to have that spacing if they're two-way driveways.
Right, right. Okay. Well, for my purposes, I believe that the topography of what they're proposing seems to be a reasonable solution considering, but it's up to you guys. What do you guys,
Well, I
opinions
think-
on that?
The extenuating circumstances too are, the limited number of days it's gonna be used.
Yeah, it's not,
It's not a daily, throughput.
it's gonna be real busy on Sunday maybe, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Another issue is that, but the parking lot there, right now, the streets are filled every Sunday. We're growing,
Oh, yeah,
and we
right.
can't accommodate everybody in the current parking.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Okay, I think we're in agreement.
Yeah, motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Everman, seconded by Mr. Hoy to approve the variance as requested by Beautiful Savior Lutheran Church on Pecker Lane Drive. Further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're good.
Okay. Now, I understood this would also go to the council for approval, the full council, or no?
No. No.
So we're good, we're
Yep.
Right, you're kind of back to getting the site plan approved and then getting building permits.
very good. Thank you very much.
Next is Mr. and Mrs. Senefeld, PRK Construction. Care to come up and make your case?
So as you can see by the paperwork, we're looking for a variance on the side yard setback. There was a drawing that I had given, but there you go, or I have it drawn out. To add on, create a two-stall garage and then a laundry in the back. So basically, it's to exceed the side yard setback, and I guess our case would be Dale and his wife Mary have been there 35 years. They don't want to move. Dale is a Vietnam veteran, is disabled, and there's, the musical cars as they get older is getting more difficult. And there's grandchildren there periodically, and moving cars creates a safety issue in their opinion as well. But the biggest thing is just that they can both get inside in the winter, and it's not getting any easier for Dale to get out and scrape cars and move cars and all that kind of thing, for the 4 months out of the year, and 12 months really, but the winter is getting difficult for him. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that, Dale?
So the issue here is that the widening of the garage, essentially to create a two-stall garage, puts you too close to the lot line.
Yeah.
And the setback should be
6 feet.
6 feet, and you're at
We're asking to go to 3.
3. Okay. What do your neighbors think?
Well, the neighbors decided I'd be doing it, and they're all for it.
Okay.
Years ago, we were gonna do that, and for some, it got approved, but the contractor passed away, and we never did it. And now we're older, and we like the neighborhood, and we wanna stay. But with the 2 vehicles and stuff,
So the good intentions of a few years ago, they have waited too long, and now they had an ordinance
correct.
change and.
Yeah. But,
I see. So the issue that we have before us really is the widening of the garage. not necessarily, there's no concerns with the laundry room and additions in the back. Okay, questions, Tom or Tommy?
And, yeah, I mean, the neighbor was the question.
Yeah, that was my concern about the neighbor, that's all.
Who I'm sure you know well, because he's been there for a long time too.
He always says, do what you gotta do, you know, and I told him, he says, you're gonna be getting a letter, and okay, and the day I got mine, she was out there waving and happy, you know, so.
Okay, well, I think we know what we need to know, so thank you, and you can have a seat while we talk about it. 6 feet, I didn't know it was 6 feet.
Single story is 6 feet. Story and a half or higher would be 8 feet. It's part of the principal structure.
That's true, that's true. Yep. I think the case was made, it's,
Yeah.
especially because the neighbor is, and this is obviously something that's been thought about before, it's been discussed, I'm sure, between both of the neighbors. There's no reason to think there's any coercion on the fact of what he's doing with the other neighbor, so I'm okay with this.
Yeah, we're not going to the lot line here, you still got 3
Still
feet.
got 3 feet?
Yeah. Is it 6 feet because of, like a safety concern?
No, it's kind of just a standard in the zoning you might find.
It's not like a fire code, like, oh, it's too close to that building, somebody can jump.
No, just for simple separation from the property line.
Make a motion to approve the variance as requested.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Hoy, seconded by Mr. Everman to approve the variance requested for the Sonnenfelds on St. Agnes Drive. All in favor?
Aye.
You have your variance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so the paperwork will go right to inspection then when we pursue permits?
Yeah, follow up with the inspector and get your plans approved and get your permit.
Okay, very good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yep. The Shrivers are next. And Alderman Scannell, you've made it, so you can have a chair. I understand that Mr. Scannell is already waiting on this, so we'll let him speak.
Space Coast.
Well done.
Yeah, Larissa emailed me and explained the situation and that, she had on her staff, and of course they were following the rules, and that we put her on a path to you. And to me, it just makes a lot of sense. I mean, the last storm we had was, my mother's cedars are also pretty sad looking. I don't know what it is about cedars, but they did not handle that storm very well.
That snowstorm that we had.
Yeah. And,
It took so many branches.
so there's something already there, and they just want to replace it with a fence. I think it'll look a lot better than what's there. And there's no problem with the neighbors or anything.
No.
So, yeah.
My neighbors actually wanted to cut the trees down before I moved into the house until they realized they were lying.
So they'd be happy.
They would be ecstatic, actually.
Okay, so the situation is you've got an oddly shaped lot,
Yeah.
if I can be so bold as to
Yeah.
say, and you've got some very old cedars performing a screening function that
Mhm.
perhaps they've seen their better days.
They have, yeah.
So your solution, however, runs up against an ordinance how?
Height?
Height.
Yeah, within the setback.
Yep, okay,
So you're basically creating a wall on the side.
yeah.
Which already exists because of the trees, correct?
Well, this is a man-made feature, so it's a different circumstance.
Right, but I'm just saying, right now, the trees are acting as that.
Yes,
Okay.
you kind of see them in that photo a little bit.
On the right.
But there are other options for fencing within the setback.
They could make it shorter.
Right, 3 feet solid, 4 feet 50%, 5 feet 80%. So there are other options that are available.
So given that you had some other options available for the fence, how did you arrive at the one that
I
you
wanted the privacy fence. I have 2 dogs, and they don't like people. Well, they like to bark, and then I have kids as well. And then that street right there itself is really, really busy. So I'd like to have that privacy fence. Because Elmore, that's like a main drive for Elmore Elementary.
Okay,
And people don't like to drive very slow down that road.
okay, so So your argument then is that you've got this screening, you've got this privacy that you've had from the trees. You'd like to reproduce it with a fence, but
Right.
the fence is too big and it's or too tall and it's too close, but you need a tall fence because you've got various things that,
Right, and I
Need
have
a
a
tall
son who
fence.
loves balls, so they would go flying over a 3-foot fence quite easily.
okay, so, but your neighbors have been made aware of this.
Correct, yeah.
And at least as far as they've told you, they're far happier with the thought of a fence than the cedar trees.
Correct, yeah, we had it all planned out last year to get the fence. I had the company person to come down, and I went to go get my building permit. See, I'm a first-time homeowner, so I didn't know there were big rules and regulations. And they were ecstatic to get this fence. They couldn't wait, because the trees on their side of the house are actually all dead. There's no leaves or anything on them. So it would honestly make our neighborhood look really nice.
Where is this fence that I'm looking at? Is that the one that's curving towards the house right
It's
now?
curving towards the house. I did not put that there. That
So
was
this
there.
right there is that one that's going straight to where the 9 and the 6
Yeah.
are? And how tall is that fence?
That's a 6-foot fence.
But that is okay because it's not against the setback, you're saying?
It's illegal.
Oh, that one. Oh.
I'm not sure.
We were, when I came to get, they're like, oh, that's not supposed to be there. I also have a gate, a 6-foot gate. So if you go on there's that fence and then the trees, there's a gate right here that meet up with these trees.
Yeah, there's a picture of a gate that matches the fence.
Yep,
Okay.
we didn't put that there either. To my understanding, the owners before us had a camper that they backed into the backyard. That's why the gate was there.
Not your classic rectangular Green Bay lot.
No.
It's an awful lot. I wish I would have known better before I bought it, but we love our house, so.
It's unique. It's just that you're
But
on,
yeah, unique. I think I use that in my view.
you're on
filling out my
display,
papers.
that's the principal issue here.
Mhm.
Questions, Tom, Tony?
Ms. Goodell, any thoughts with respect to traffic concerns with the 6-foot fence
No.
there?
No, I don't think that would be an issue. I don't, I haven't talked to Dave Hanson about this at all, but I don't think he'd have any other information that'd really be pertinent without really studying it, but from, having knocked that area often enough and everything, I don't think it's gonna be an issue. I mean, the trees are already there and tall and traffic is adjusted to that. I mean, it's never been an issue.
Okay, if you guys could have a seat, we'll deliberate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's one other thing I could mention too, that a 6-foot fence would be permitted no less than 7.5 feet off that street, off of Columbia. But again, they've chosen to go right to the property line, the right-of-way line. And again, that creates a wall, there's no separation, there's no green space.
Right.
So there is an exception, so to speak, that allows a 6-foot high fence to be on a corner side yard, no closer than 7 to the right-of-way line.
Okay. This is one of those situations where it's not a corner lot, it's not a,
It's a corner lot, most definitely.
it's,
And it's really kind of boils down to an aesthetic issue. You've got a stretch of fencing here that's right on top of the sidewalk, and there's no green space or separation. And the ordinance has a provision that allows some, intrusion into the setback, but it's still some green space that's allowed along the right of way.
So you're saying if it's where it says 50, you basically go 42.5 and then draw a line and we're good at 6 feet?
Well, I'm saying you can go 7.5 feet off of the interior side of the sidewalk.
Yes.
So right now, the fence is shown right, basically on top of the sidewalk.
Yeah, so that line that's like this, if it comes in
7.5 feet.
7.5 feet, 6 feet is okay.
Yes.
And then if it goes right to the lot line, they can do 3 feet.
3 feet solid, right?
And is that because it's the front of the house, kind of? Is that why?
Well, the front is probably based off of the address and the front door and where it's oriented.
There's no backyard, really.
I would treat 735 as the front. On Columbia would be the corner side, the rear yard would be to the south, and then an interior side. So where the fence is, that's on a corner side.
Yeah. I don't know, my thought is like, if it was in the back of the house, correct, it wouldn't be an issue, correct? to be 6 feet?
It'd still have to be outside the setbacks, except in the side or rear. The problem is we're talking about the front yard. We
Right.
treat the front yard like we do the corner side and vice
Correct.
versa.
But she doesn't have a backyard.
She doesn't have a backyard.
Yeah.
That's the rub here.
Yeah.
It's a funny lot, and if you took 7.5 feet off, you know, there wouldn't be much left, so she'd have to either go shorter or more transparent, and then we get into the question of the fact that's a busy street.
I just raised a point that there's an alternative in the code.
Right.
Yeah.
They've chosen not to pursue for whatever reason. So
Correct.
it goes back to the issue of hardship and
Yes.
why they can't comply with the law.
Yes.
And then you also were saying that there was, is there like, okay, 3 feet and 6 feet? Is there a middle ground you were saying as well?
Yep.
That we're- What's that?
Right, so you can be back 7.5 feet and be 6 feet.
Yep.
And then it tapers down. You can be at 3 feet solid in that setback area, that's 7.5 feet. You can be 4 feet, 50% open,
Okay,
or you can be 5 feet, 80%.
got it.
So the idea is to maintain some transparency in that fencing. This now would create 100% impervious section
Yeah.
of fencing along that property.
Have you, where'd she go? Did you consider going back further? And you'd lose some backyard area, but then it would be coded correctly.
If we went back, it actually would only leave me with this tiny little area, and it wouldn't be big enough for my kids to be playing in. It wouldn't honestly even fit my tiny little swing set that I have.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it's positioned, that it is like the tree's angle, so it kind of makes my backyard a V almost.
Yeah.
So if we were to set it back that side, I wouldn't have any yard.
Shed on the bottom right. Takes up all of it.
That's the garage.
Is that the garage? Is that the garage on the bottom?
Yes.
It's crazy, the driveway's like going through the
Yeah.
lot line.
The reason why you didn't want to go with the 6-foot tall fence in that position, but more open, and that was what did you say it had to be, Paul? At 6 feet where she wants it, it had to be more,
6 feet at the 7.5 feet. So 7.5 feet off of the right of way.
so there's no
could be
way
6
she
feet.
could put, other than a 3-foot fence, that's all she could put where she wants to put a fence.
Well, it's 3 choices. It's 3
Yeah.
foot solid,
3 foot solid,
4 foot 50%, or 5 feet 80%.
80% open.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're talking about a split rail fence. You're talking about a chain link fence or
Yeah,
something
basically
that.
a chain link fence. Okay, I think I know why. I'm okay with this.
I'm okay with this.
It's a
weird lot.
Yeah, the lot just kind of burns.
The trees are there
And
anyway.
if you shrink it, you're gonna crush the space she wants to use for the dogs and her kids. you
Yeah.
know. I don't see the harm in
Just to
doing
make
it
sure,
itself.
Paul, she could put the fence 6 feet tall where she wants to put it, but 80% open.
You know,
5 foot.
should have to be, for a 6 foot fence, you'd have to be 7.5 feet off that.
Period.
Period.
For 5 feet, you could do
No, I-
80%.
I got it. Okay.
So if it's 6 feet, then it tapers down to that 3 foot, or 4 foot, or 5 foot. It just gets more open, or has to be more open as it's higher.
So that we have the merits of a cyclone fence versus a solid fence.
Yeah.
And if you've got pups and you got a high volume of traffic, there's gonna be a difference between the see-through and the solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right
guess,
into this
I guess I'm just
guy.
thinking that if you're in that neighborhood or driving through that neighborhood or walking through that neighborhood, you as a pedestrian may prefer to see a solid fence instead of a 6-foot or 5-foot cyclone fence. And that's not so good either, I don't think so.
Well, I don't know if you got dogs on the other side of it, I don't mind the solid
Yes.
fence.
Right,
Yeah.
all right.
Were you gonna say something?
Well, it just lends itself to being that traditional picket fence.
Yeah.
You might see. A 3 foot solid fence.
Yep, that's what,
It serves the purpose of keeping the dogs in, but there's visibility in the back and some privacy. I'm just saying that the code offers a variety of options.
right.
It shows a none.
Yes, I understand. And I'm okay with it. So, motion,
Yeah, I'm based on the Alderman's support as
Yeah.
well as, the argument made. I make a motion to approve the variance as requested.
I'll second.
okay, we have motion made and seconded by Mr. Hoy and Mr. Everman to approve the variance for the Schreibers on Northern Avenue. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. You're good.
Thank you so much. So excited.
Then I would. Sure. Oh, you can. Yeah, I can in this situation.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're.
Me and you disagree all day long.
Yeah,
It's over.
right. Okay, item number 7, Beta Mao and Associates. Mao and Associates, Mr. Beta.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm John Leroy with Mount Associates,
All right.
the property owner and developer. A little background on what is looking to go ahead and happen here. So Mr. Acker's been working with the city for the past few months to go ahead and develop a multi-family project here that is along Clement Street. And as you can see, along the eastern part of the property, there is some old right-of-way right there, which is a part of Rothy. In their negotiations over the past few months, there's been a need to go ahead and have some sort of emergency vehicle access as it goes around the entire property site for the future apartment complex. The initial thought with people was to potentially go ahead and put a drive entrance to go connect onto the unimproved part of Rothy to connect back to the improved part of Rothy. The problem that's there though is Rothy stops a couple hundred feet short of the northeast corner of the property and just doesn't go any further because it's a giant hill right there.
It's a giant what?
It's a hill that's right there. In relation to the next agenda item for University Heights at Barrett Creek, the apartment project is going up right there. They too explored that option of going ahead and placing a drive to Rothy, but also it's just too much of a barrier right there. So because of the landscape and the need for the emergency exit over the course of the past few months, Mr. Hacker and Mao and DPW and planning were discussing possible ways to go ahead and make this work for the unimproved area of Rothy. So initially, the idea was floated about to go ahead and have a street vacation there, but that turned into the best idea for everybody would to go ahead and place a road closure right there. So as part of the negotiations with that, there was a zoning ordinance 2-18 that was approved that allowed for the development of the driveway that acts as an emergency loop. There probably would not be much actual usage of that loop in the future. To go into what would be the closed part of Rothy Avenue, the unimproved part of Rothy Avenue. Part of the give then for the city in return is to allow for curbing in the eastern area to allow potentially a sidewalk to go in with a trail connection down to Barrett Street Trail, which is to the south, which will allow for a trail connection. So with all this in mind, the property as far as the drive and the trash, as part of the zoning ordinance, are allowed to go ahead and be into that eastern area. With that, down in the southeastern corner of the property, there is a proposed accessory building. And the side yard setback is where we're asking for the variance request. Along the southern property line, where you're going up against the park itself, it's meeting the traditional setback. To the east, we are asking for a 3-foot setback. That was a number that was agreed upon by the parties back in when trying to figure out what the best way to go with this. To go up against what will now be the closed Rothy Avenue, or Rothy Street, that's not going to be used at all, been improved. And it will be south and west of the future drive that goes around the property.
I think you did a very good job of explaining it, but I was too slow to understand it all. Can we go back to the picture?
I was gonna say, if you understood it, I know what's going on. If you understood it, you're good.
Can we go back
We
to
don't
the
have
photograph?
we don't have the photos a lot.
That's
No,
what I needed.
okay, so-
That's what I needed, so.
Yeah, right now you'll see
So if you
down.
could make sure I understand where Rothy is.
Yeah, you can't see it right here. That's how far it's unimproved. So Rothy itself, the actual right of way, you can see the end of it right there actually. That's the improved part of Rothy.
Oh, yeah.
But Rothy as an actual right of way goes down and extends to here.
Got it,
It extends to nothing
okay.
because there's no road there. It's Bear Creek Parkway.
Yeah.
It's nothing. So as part of the negotiations and the zoning ordinance 2-18, That's to become closed. So it's still city-owned, but it's a closed street. And part of their agreement was to go ahead and allow for give and take, where Hecker would go ahead and build the drive around or into the closed section, but then have grading and curbing to allow for a future trail connection back to Bear Creek.
Okay, so what do you need the variance for? What's the variance needed? Is it just the 3 feet on the Rothy setback?
I believe it was 3
It's the
feet.
encroachment into the setbacks and then the placement of the trash enclosure,
Okay,
proximity to the right of way. So the right of way is still there yet.
yeah,
And all zoning requirements still apply, even though they have some private agreement that doesn't trump the zoning requirements.
okay. But apparently there's been a fair amount of discussion with
There is.
city planning on this.
Yes, right. We were involved in the closure, but the discussion about the paving in the right of way was handled through public works.
Okay. I'm perfectly amenable to having us be a quasi part of that. I just want to make sure I understand what has sort of already been agreed to that we may need to provide some final approval on. I guess that's where we stand. We've got an encroachment in a right-of-way on a street that kind of doesn't exist.
It may never exist, there's steep
Oh, there we
topography
go,
there,
yeah.
so.
But it could.
Well, never say never, but it's an engineering challenge, if I'm not mistaken.
The city
But-
never did anything with it, and then when I had come in, I thought, well, I can do this. Oops.
But
I
there's
don't know if
always-
insert foot, it's
It'll-
almost impossible.
It can't go any further south now, because,
But the point is that this right of way leads to the parkway, to
Yeah.
Berry Creek,
Mhm.
and the zoning requirements are there for an aesthetic purpose, maybe in this case, maybe not encroaching in the right of way, have no setback further, so they'll still apply in this case.
okay. Got it. I'm okay with this. Any further questions, you guys? Okay, so you guys could have a seat, we'll talk it over. Thank you.
This.
That's it.
That's it. It's
Plus
supposed to be-
then the trash collection place is a,
Right, and then the setback for the detached structure is supposed to be 55 feet.
Where's the detached structure?
Lower right-hand corner.
right up against the park.
Got it.
So again, if someone was concerned about the proximity of this to Parkway, you might want to maintain the setbacks. There could be a trail through Rothy Street at some point. I'm not sure when that would occur, but again, it's kind of a public aesthetic you have to consider as well.
Yep, but we know what was there. I do anyway. It was a Rothy construction, it was
De Kaiser.
basically, well, got to be De Kaiser, yeah. Basically, it was a gravel pit. Oh, that's my look at it. So that's neither here nor there. We've got, I'm okay with what's being proposed, and
I have no issues.
I motion to approve.
I'll second.
all right, Mr. Everman came through and made a motion to approve the variance request for the property along Bear Creek Parkway, and Mr. Hoy has seconded that. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 You're good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is there two items on the agenda for that?
No, this will be next door.
So I guess we better get to that one. We've got to sign one in between. Sarah Peters, Jones sign? Or do I got, what, am I jumping the gun here?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you guys.
You're in again.
I'm in again.
All right. Sorry to cut you off there. I just saw two, didn't see two of them. Gotcha. All right, now we're on to the other part.
Just to the east.
Yeah. All right.
So the variance request here is for the drive entrance to the north. That is essentially the extension of Liebman, private drive though. There is existing right now. Where we are asking for the drive to be 37 feet wide with 25-foot radiuses. And it'd be an 84.6 approximately foot opening onto University Avenue. This varies from the typical driveway for a complex itself for a private drive. The reason why we are asking for this is because of the volume and the function of this drive itself. This will act as the main street into the large development that is about 300 plus units when all is said and done. Currently, right now, there are units already being built for UWGB student housing and other housing as part of the first phase of this development. And so we'd like to go ahead and have this road be more of a typical street-like design because there will be buses, garbage trucks, plenty of larger U-Haul type moving vehicles that would go through the property itself. And this is the main drive entrance. There's a second drive to go ahead and be completed that would go east-west to Rothley, but that's viewed as the secondary drive, more of an emergency type. This is the main access point to the large overall development.
That entranceway was for trucks and monster vehicles for years and years and years. I'm surprised that there would be, but I guess it was really never developed as anything other than a plain old driveway.
Well, I think considering the redevelopment of that site, we treated that as a new development.
Yeah.
Therefore, it doesn't meet the code. So I think they're basically keeping the curb returns that are.
I think what's there, that's what I was gonna say.
Right.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, the nature of the lot itself wasn't wide enough to go ahead and make them to a public right of way right there. It stays as a private drive and to go ahead and access the property. But the intent is to go ahead and make it seem like you're actually on a normal road, rather than going ahead and trying to hop onto University with a narrow drive entrance with a school bus or a line of cars that want to go out of there.
Visibility is tough enough there as it is, so I understand this one. You guys, any questions?
It's a good move.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, I know we're in violent agreement on this one, so somebody.
Motion approved.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the variance request for the TMD properties. Is that the correct way to present it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, you're good. Now we have Joan sign.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Apparently, we don't have Sarah Peters here.
No, Sarah is not available today. I'm going to be taking her place.
All right.
My
I'm
name
sure
is
you'll do
Aaron
just
Zubin,
fine.
and with me today is Eric Zize, the
All
project
right.
manager.
Senior project manager dedicated to all things Packers.
All right.
Go through Jones Sign.
That's the way it seems. Okay. What do you need to do, and why do you need to do it?
Well, so we're proposing additional temporary signage on the west side of Lambeau Field, facing a ridge. And it seems as though there are four sections of this temporary sign ordinance that we are compliant with, and that's why we are asking for this variance.
And I would add that a variance has been granted for one banner
Yeah,
already.
Yeah, we've
And,
seen this before.
Yep. Yep, so we've completed that banner.
Do we
Brought a picture. But the response has been very positive, and they have 100 Seasons branding on Oneida, and then also Lombardi. But they don't have anything on Ridge facing Titletown. And so the intent was to add some visibility. There are some parking lot banners and things, but this would be facing Titletown, and this is what was been approved and installed already to date. So this was approved prior.
What you're proposing is pretty much the same thing, right?
It's the same thing, and actually it is slightly smaller than the original that was granted to comply with some of the anchoring and attachments. So we worked with engineering. We want to make sure that we're limiting penetrations into the facade, and we're coordinating attachment with the mortar joints.
Questions, Tom or Tommy? I think we understand this, we've had it talked about before. Okay, gentlemen, if you could have a seat, we'll talk it over.
Making sure they got all four sides.
Yeah, I think we'd be exposing ourselves to ridicule if we did not approve this, because we've already approved the one that's there.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Okay, motion has been made by Mr. Urban, seconded by Mr. Hoy to approve the request for the variance regarding the sign on Packer Stadium. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, Robert Clark. Good evening.
Newmeyer. Talked to you several times. I just kept hearing the name Paul, so I just I thought
Now
that
you got a face to the name.
exactly.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Put a garage back in the existing spot that the garage was. Tore it down because it was going to fall into the neighbor's yard. It was actually neighbor's garage. It was actually touching their garage at the time when I bought it, and we tore it down. And now we'd like to put it back up. Yeah, there's the old picture where it was there. It was actually touching his garage.
Yeah.
It was leaning so badly.
So your proposal, you're just gonna put it back where it was?
That is
You're
correct.
not gonna go any
Nowhere-
closer? It's just the same?
Exact garage.
Doesn't the street view have it demolished?
No,
No, it's.
It looked like, okay. I was
Yeah,
thinking
it's
of
just
something else.
leaning, if you look at it, it's leaning right on it. And so,
So they've got a side yard and a rear yard variance issue?
front yard setback issue, 55 feet.
Okay,
And the distance between the accessory building and the principal building. And there was 2 stalls inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was part of the original request, but that's no longer needed. So the issue here is, the applicant's also made a request for a conditional use permit to the planning commission. So this is kind of the first stop to see if you can get the parking that's required for the use.
okay, yeah, this is the one where you've got a duplex.
it is a
right?
duplex
It is a
now.
duplex?
I bought
Well,
it.
it's not a duplex yet.
Well, I bought it as a duplex. It's been a duplex since 2007, and then the city sent me a letter, stopped by and said that it's no longer a duplex. So I bought it as a duplex. You know what I mean? Everything was in my knowledge of
Your
it.
knowledge.
Yeah, my knowledge of it
But
was a
that's where
duplex.
the conditional use.
Yes, that is correct.
Right, it's our understanding that one of those units was vacant for more than a year.
Yes.
Lost its non-conforming status. So that, therefore, they have to come back to get the conditional use permit.
As a duplex.
Right, so the criteria there is that you have to have 2 spaces per unit.
Per unit.
For 4 spaces. And 2 of them have to be enclosed.
Right.
Which I believe they are. So the issue really comes down to the setback, being able to reinstall that garage, creates those 2 issues with the setback and the distance between the structures. So this is a critical decision as it would reflect on the CUP. If it's
Right.
not granted, there's a chance, very good chance it would not get the CUP. It would remain a single-family use.
Is it in the city's interests? As the city, would the city like this to be a duplex?
I guess that recommendation hasn't been rendered yet, so I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, there's other factors we have to look at as far as saturation, and I guess we haven't done that full research yet. That's coming up on July 9th, I believe.
Well,
So this is somewhat, I'm giving you the backstory, but it's also independent as well. I mean, this is a variance case, and looking for hardship and why this can or can't be done.
okay. So you bought some property that you expect, you would hope, to be able to develop it further as a duplex.
It was already.
You already thought
It was already done.
duplex, but-
Yeah, it was. Everything was actually done. There's 2 meters. There's 2 gas meters. There's 2 electrical boxes. There's everything's there for the duplex. And so when I bought it, then we were moving. I had already signed agreements with people to move in, and then I was told that that was no longer the case. It was no longer a duplex.
Okay, so if we deny the variance,
They don't have a parking for the duplex.
they don't have parking, yeah.
Correct. That's what you're saying.
And this referred to a single-family dwelling when it was vacant for over a year.
Correct.
That was never done though, correct? It was never turned back into a single family, that's all I am, as far as I understand.
Our information is, again, it was, one of the units was vacant, lost its non-conforming status, so it's a de facto single family use
So
right
one-
now as it stands.
So one of the units was vacant,
Yes.
not both of them.
It was never a
aware of
it was
both.
never a normal, single-family residence.
I think it was. I think it was designed, probably occupied initially as that, but several structures in our community have been converted legally or illegally. Can't speak to this one, except that it was non-conforming, and it lost its non-conforming status because it was vacant.
Okay.
As documented by our inspectors, so that's why the applicant's going through part of this process.
So would there have been purview when the electrical was broken into two? I mean, when the inspectors,
I don't know the infrastructure there, I mean, they could have shared services and just created two units, I don't know if they're legal, but I guess if he does get the conditional use permit, he'll have to go through a building code review.
but you're saying that there are 2 meters now?
There are two electrical boxes, 2 gas meters, and 2 different water heaters.
And
But the
WPS
water it's one.
They'll separate those services, that's not a full indication of the use of the property necessarily.
Okay, so the inspectors didn't look at that after Wisconsin Public Service did the split? Wisconsin Public Service could just do the
I think
split
they could do the split, yeah.
without review by the city?
I believe so. But again, I don't know that the unit was ever properly converted, so we're on the side of it was not.
But it had a
not
conditional
legally
use permit before.
That's what I was gonna ask. So it didn't have one, and then
I'm
it
not aware
ex-
that it had.
So when you say it was vacant for a year and it lost its, what did it have prior?
There were, it probably was a two-family use, but I can't confirm that it was legally converted. Again, a lot of structures, big and small, were converted to two-family, three-family, four-family units, not meeting codes. So this was captured kind of an enforcement issue where it was found to be not code compliant.
Did you tear down the garage when you bought it just because it was falling
'Cause it was-
apart?
My neighbor asked me to. Yeah, he's like, can you take that off my garage?
Got it.
And I was like-
His garage was helping support it.
Exactly.
So you tore it down, but then by tearing it down to then rebuild the garages where all this came back up? Or?
Then they told me to get the conditional use permit, I have to build the garage back. They're forcing me to build the garage back so that then I can get my conditional use permit.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
to
That makes
provide
sense.
2 covered spots.
That is correct.
That's what the argument is.
That makes
Or
sense.
as a single-family, one covered spot.
Yeah.
So
So we're in a position here of being the initial approver instead of, as we were in some of the others, the last one they need before they go forward.
right, it's cart before the horse, I don't know, I mean, it's simply a timing issue, but again, it's still a variance.
Yeah, well, that's
request.
okay.
It's,
But just so the applicant understands, we're not the final approval, we're.
I understand, this is just the start of it for me.
Yes, we could probably go down on it right now, and you're not gonna be able to do much of anything that you wanted to do, but just because we approve it doesn't mean.
Correct.
Still doesn't mean you're gonna get
Yes,
to do
that
everything.
is correct. That is
So
correct.
what we'll consider, just on the basis of whether there's a good enough argument in our mind for the variances that you think you need.
Mhm.
And then it's up to you to get whatever you need for occupancy and
Correct.
various things.
We have a spectator who wants to talk.
Oh. Here. Yes, would you like to talk?
Yes.
Please, come on up.
Emily Isabart, YSEBAERT, 1569 Proper Street. I've lived in the neighborhood for 18 years. The unit that he's talking about has been used as a single family, a two-family for a variety of, when they had tenants, they sometimes had a two-family. When they couldn't find tenants, it was a one-family. The owners both passed away. The house became vacant, was vacant for almost 2 years, and then was purchased. It became, as you said, it was non-conforming. It lost its ability to be a two-family at that point. Based on the city ordinances or whatever it is, it became R1, zone residential, single family. Mr. Clark purchased the property without doing his due diligence and assumed it was a two-family just because it was set up as a two-family. He found out from the city that it wasn't. He moved tenants into the property after the city notified him it was no longer a two-family. He moved people into both units and then fought with the city about the single-family zoning. So he's been through municipal court about this. I mean, I'm a neighbor that's lived there.
I haven't been to any court.
There's a citation in municipal court.
I'm telling you, this is the first time I've seen anybody.
Anyway,
Oh, okay.
we'll let the lady make her.
So
I'm sorry, I
I've
just wanted to make that
I've had discussions with the inspector where he was informed by Mr. Clark that tenants had been living in the property when the electricity and water were disconnected. I've been working with the inspection department about the property because of the state that the property's in. The CUP that he's asked for, the conditional use permit, I don't believe the city supports it. I know the neighbors don't support it. This is the only property in that block that would be a two-family. Everything else is single-family, owned by the people living in the property. So I have a concern because if you approve this, I feel like the city then may feel like they have to approve something. And, you know, it's not something that's good for the neighborhood. This house is on top of another house. I don't know that the yard in the back, the yard is a very odd shaped yard.
Yeah.
It kind of zigzags behind the house and goes way back. Well, like he said, the garage, if there's a two-stall garage there, it's right up against the other neighbor's property. A single garage would be fine because there'd be plenty of space. But if you put a two-stall garage, it's going to be up right against the neighbor's garage.
When this was owned by the previous owner, was that owner occupied or was that a rental?
It was owner occupied, but they often would have rental or people staying in the upstairs.
Okay.
But it was owner occupied in the lower half.
And now the difference is gonna be that this is gonna become a rental property.
Correct.
Per se.
Correct. And I think I think for probably at least a year before the wife died first, the husband died second, probably a year prior to the wife leaving, the wife passing away, they had no tenants. I think they had difficulty with tenants coming in and out, so they stopped having tenants after a while, and it was just them in the lower unit.
Is there a garage currently?
No, we took it down to help the neighbor.
We can go back and
I was gonna
see
say
what
there
was
was a
there.
picture.
No, I remember that. I'm just saying, so there's not a second structure that has parking. So this is the
Yeah.
only garage that is on the property.
Correct.
But if there was a garage there in general, it wouldn't fit no matter what, correct? Based on the requirements.
There'll be some challenges potentially.
Just based on the lot and how close the houses are together.
Definitely the front yard setback, maybe not the distance between structures, but maybe the
What's,
front yard setback.
what's the normal code between? Is that the 6 feet?
3 feet.
Help me understand again. Why was this other one 6 feet and this one 3 feet again?
That was to a property line. This is between two existing structures, or a principal and an accessory structure.
Got it. Okay.
All right, well, this was very interesting, ma'am. I appreciate your
Yeah,
comments.
no, it's good context.
Did
And
you,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, please.
And I'm Joanne Peipenberg, and I'm the president of Three Corners Neighborhood, where this property exists. And I speak on behalf of our board. We are definitely not in favor of this. So everything that Emily has said, it would be redundant for me to repeat.
Okay, so the position of the neighbors and indeed your neighborhood organization would be opposing the idea of this being a duplex?
Yes.
So it's a question of use is what your concern is?
Yes.
I have an issue with the cramming a garage in between another garage. Because I live 2 houses away from this property.
There's really only room for a single stall garage in there.
So, sorry, the one that was demolished, is that considered 2 or 1?
2.
The one on the right, is that a single or Stone.
Yeah, it's a single,
Single.
maybe stone half.
You can get 2 cars in that one? That's crazy.
Not in the.
They never.
The one on the left?
On the one on the left, sure. Yeah, it's probably a 16-foot opening.
Yeah, it was there,
That's tight.
it was there when I got there, when I bought the place.
No, yeah.
The reason I did move, that I have moved tenants in is because I was threatening to get sued by the tenants, because I'd already had legal documentation saying that they were gonna move in, and then I was told that it was now a single family. So, yeah, we
Do you
did.
currently have 2 tenants?
That is correct. I do not hide that. I've said that from the beginning. I have actual contracts with 2 tenants.
Yeah.
And that was done before Scott Nelson ever came to my property. And I have proof of that, and that's where we stand. Is it was bought as a duplex, it was fixed up as a duplex, it's now rented, and then I stopped. She mentioned the condition of the home. It is not by any means done. I just didn't know where to go. I'm waiting to find out what to do.
Who is Scott Nelson?
He's our
The
housing and zoning
inspector.
inspector.
Housing inspector, okay. Well, it puts us in a difficult position,
Yeah.
a more difficult position than I thought.
Well, it does, and I just want to give you the background information for your knowledge, that there's something else going on with another committee, but again, if the focus is on.
Can we defer? Can we punt? And put
Well,
ourselves behind it?
Well, I think it's gonna be chasing your tail then, because I think
It's gonna come back.
the planning commission's gonna wanna know if they have sufficient parking, because that's a criteria we would use for possibly approving it. So this just happens to be the first stop of the process.
See, the way it's been presented to us, notwithstanding what the property, the neighbors have said, the way it's been presented to us is that this is being planned as a duplex. And it's just a reconstruction of a garage.
That's all it is. I mean, if you wanna call it a single family, you can. If you wanna call it a 2-family, I guess you could too. But it's still an issue of front yard setback, it's an issue of distance between the structures, those
But we don't
issues.
call things that. We don't call things a single
Right,
family
right.
or a 2-family. That's not our,
Right.
Your purpose.
In some sense you wouldn't, but, you might like to have knowledge of the use, but it's not really critical. It's more of a dimensional issue.
No, I get it, but
In the relationship to the hardship, whatever that means.
at the end of the day, all we're looking at, right, their argument, I get it, but that has nothing to do with what we're looking at. We're looking at setbacks,
Right.
things like that. So
Simply
even if
the
it was gonna be a
item
single
is-
car garage, we'd still have some problems,
I
correct?
think so, yes.
Right, so if we want to remove ourselves from everything, we can vote on the idea of the variances and stuff like that. My concern is, there seems a lot of energy, this is my concern, energy behind this being the first step. I think determining what this is going to be, we make variances for garage setbacks, things like that, but if this is used as some sort of chip, in terms of like, well, the variances have already been approved, the parking's been approved, so therefore it leads credence to a larger argument, I don't necessarily feel comfortable.
yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
I feel like it should be the other way first,
Right, but then again, our staff's gonna ask, do you have sufficient parking? And he'll be like, well, no, I don't have sufficient parking because I need a variance. It's.
Fill me in on what, let's say that we approve the variance requests. Then what's next?
Most likely July 9th, a CUP request for a 2-family at the planning commission.
Okay, and then that's when,
The use issue.
that's when the neighbors come back and do it again. Yeah?
Multiple.
So the question I guess I have is, because of the, what's in limbo, I guess, it's a single family, it's zoned single family, can you consider it as building a single family garage or 1-stall garage? You said you'll still have variance issues. Can you consider it that way, or are the variance issues with the 2-stall the same as the variance issues with the 1-stall,
I don't think so, because then the side setback wouldn't be a problem if it was a single, correct? It's the
Right.
front that would be the issue,
So
correct?
this is a case where it has to be a 2-stall garage, because there has to be 2 spaces enclosed.
For it to be a duplex.
Right, for a duplex. And it has to have 2 other spots, probably stacked right behind it, to have 4 total, to meet the 2 units. But you're right, if it's treated as a single, then you maybe just need one enclosed and one behind it. You still probably need a variance for that front setback, because it's just too close.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a dimensional issue because of the property, the way it is.
Right.
It goes like this and then it goes like this.
And I think that's how you have to view it. I think it's, again, like any other request you view, there's a hardship and you have to look at the circumstances, and not so much the use. We're just trying to give you the use as a background again for your edification.
I have no problem with the front setback, I'll just say that.
Yeah, no, I think the issue here is basically then it devolves to the 3 feet.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure how clear it is on the side setbacks. I mean, I guess, the impervious coverage, I mean, those are things that, I think he's got sufficient room for the setback on the south side. It's just kind of difficult to see what everything else is going on there.
There's 3, right? It's the front, the side, and the back that are all in variance issues, correct?
The side, yes.
Not the back?
Not the back. If there's 4 feet there, that should be sufficient. But there's pretty much 0 feet on the property.
The way we have it according to the drawing is 10 feet here. And 4.5 feet here. That's probably 4.5 feet to the next garage.
Yeah, you're saying that if you build it the way you want, it would be basically 2.5 feet, 2.3 feet
I would
from
only
the
put
side
it
back.
back exactly the way it was.
No, I know, but
I don't know what do you mean?
It says 2.3 or 2 feet 3 inches.
Okay, yes.
So
that is
3
correct.
feet is code. So he's looking at 8 inches, or right?
7.
It depends on the width of the lot. If it's less than 60, then
9
it's
inches.
2.5.
Right, 9 inches to make it 3 feet.
This is 2 feet 3, the distance between the garage and the house. Is that correct, sir?
It's in that, I believe that measurement's been put there as well. That I think is fine. That measurement is the actual distance from the house to the garage is correct. The only one that I was aware of was the one on the next to the other garage, and I didn't realize the distance from the street. Paul was just saying that, I didn't know that one.
Is that correct?
Right. Yep. So you're in essence putting a detached accessory structure real close to the lot line.
Do we know what that measurement is? Like how
I
many?
don't have that accuracy. We have to rely on the applicant to provide that.
And you don't know the distance between the lot line and the side structure?
It was, again,
This is saying from the house, 2.3 inches from the house,
and then
or 2 feet 3 inches, but
that
I don't see it. It's close. It's shorter than 3 feet. 3 feet.
You guys have any further questions?
When you mentioned that there were some legal issues, could you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Well, I looked on the circuit court website and there's a citation. He was cited by the city because he had two tenants in a single-family residence.
which is that's this. That's what we're trying to resolve, is this. So I did get cited for excuse me, I keep saying Paul, sorry. I meant when Scott Nelson called me up and asked me, he goes, is there 2 tenants there? I said, yes, there is. I go, I didn't want to get sued. I go, they have actual contracts with me, and it was before you had given me the notice. And I go, they moved in a week after you had given me the notice. They had already had, a 2-month, that was signed 2 months beforehand. And that's when he goes, okay, I will have to cite the property. And I go, I understand, until it's all worked out. Until it's worked out.
You haven't been to court for it?
Nothing.
That's what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I've never done anything with it, because this is what we're in the process of.
Got it.
Oh, ma'am, do you want to take the floor?
Well, I was just looking to see if I have the emails from Scott, because Scott contacted me because he knows I live in the neighborhood, and I had talked to him about this, and one of the neighbors had come to me to complain about the fact that this gentleman was saying, well, I'll just sell it to some dope dealers and as a single family, and the neighbor told me that he felt pressured to kind of go along with what was going on because he was threatening to sell it to
Somebody was saying that, or I was saying that? Because I never said that.
Well, you also just said you received no citations from the city when I said you had a municipal charge.
I'm sorry, I didn't know what that meant.
So, I was just trying to find the email because Scott Nelson had to go to the utilities to prove when the house was vacated, because this gentleman was arguing the fact that the tenants had been there for some time, and I understand the tenants were also saying that. And there was no way, because there was no utilities to this house. So I mean, you guys have to decide what you have to do. I'm okay if you would normally approve this. I understand that. I don't have any problem with that, because you're really looking at, like you said, hardship. Is this a normal thing? I'll be going to the July 9th meeting as well. Joanne will be at the July 9th
And I'll have other neighbors
meeting.
there too.
So we'll have neighbors there to argue the fact that we're not happy about this. We don't want this property. We don't want this a duplex. We want it to be a single family. It reverted back to single family. We were happy to have it revert back, hoping someone would buy it as a starter home. You know, we don't even need to get into the other issues that go on with the property, you know, because that's not what you're here to decide. You're here to decide whether he should get the variance or not. So,
Well, I'll tell you what my argument is. I will deny, and the reason I will deny is that the zoning for that facility is single family. And so it would be my initial assumption that that's a single family house. And you would be arguing then why you need a two-stall garage with those many variances for a single-family residence. And I would, my position, I'm not these two guys, my position would be that you haven't sufficiently given me enough justification to grant the variance in that regard.
Okay.
I wouldn't initially, and this, it's up to these two guys, we're not the committee, we're a board. My initial wouldn't be that I would assume you've got a duplex and use that as the basis for deciding whether you have enough hardship. I would assume that you've got a single-family residence, and then is it a hardship?
They removed the CUP though, which is a conditional use permit.
I would assume that my justification for deciding on the variance would be to come with the assumption that it's a single-family residence, and that you're basically arguing to rebuild your garage with the variances that you need, as if it were a single-family residence, not as a duplex.
Okay.
So I will not pre-assume in my decision of the variance that you already are a duplex.
Right.
I will be coming from the basis of whether the hardship that you presented to me, these guys have a different opinion, whether the hardship presented to me is sufficient as a single-family residence to do the two things that you're proposing. Close to this garage, close to the house, that type of thing. So that's my decision. I just wanted these guys to know, and there's 3 votes. Have we got the questions? I kind of editorialized there.
No, I'm just-
More questions of the applicant or the neighbors?
I'm gonna call 2 things into play, okay? I've always been an advocate of grandfathering people who have something there, and replacing it with something better, okay? What the other side of the coin is, in the very recent past, there was a request for a variance on Maple Street, where the guy wanted a 2-stall garage, he was updating the property, and the lady who was living next door felt that the new garage was too close to her garage. And we denied that based on the lady who had been a long time resident there, as well as how close one garage was going to be to the next. I listened to the people from the neighborhood associations. That carries a great deal of weight with me, as well as the person who is a longtime resident, as opposed to a person who unfortunately kind of got took with respect to economic output considerations, because you know you're going to make more money on a 2-family than you are on a 1-family. I mean, that's a given, and that's probably been factored into, can I afford to put a new garage up, right? This whole business of this zoning thing cycles me back to siding with the folks who have lived in the neighborhood and will continue to be there. So I'm leaning on the deny based on the folks here.
And I've been
Can
here
we
for
make-
57 years.
Can we make 2 conditional approval denials? Because what I'm saying, so let's say your argument, I still think punt's the best option. And so what you're saying, in order to move forward on either way, is they have to answer the question about parking. I have no problem with the front setback, right? No problem with that. If it's approved as a single unit, then he doesn't have to come back and get an approval for the front setback. So can we make a conditional approval for the front setback if it's approved as a single family? And then we can focus on deny the other one? Or ask a conditional, for example, your argument about it going too close to the property. The one on this side, over this neighbor.
No, that's the house, that's the house.
This is your house here, right?
Maybe I got it wrong. Yes, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm
To
sorry.
your point about it being too close and denying it because the neighbor was too close. If we said, okay, cool, this person asked this person, do they care about it encroaching on their property?
I'm going with 2 thoughts, okay?
Sorry, real quick, because I agree with you that we have, if it was there already, we have been very, hey, someone's taking something down and they're putting it back better. We've been very, I would say, fairly consistent about that, right?
Yes.
Could I just say, you may want to ask whether he'll put the garage back up if he can't have a 2-family. He probably will not be building the garage. If it does not get your CUP, are you still building the garage?
I would probably still build the garage.
So you'd build a single-family garage then?
Yeah, we don't necessarily, it doesn't
2-car
matter, we just
garage.
approve it just in case.
I don't
he
know if
does
there's a
not.
difference
We don't
between
wanna
a
go down
single-family garage and a duplex
Right, but he's
garage.
saying he
I don't
wants
know
to
if there-
approve it
I
so
don't know
that
if there's
he
a
can move
difference.
forward, you know?
I just, I
I
feel
guess
like
I
we're
just have you guys look at the screen and some of the criteria you can use in approving a variance or not. I think you have to kind of look at the item as it's presented and, you know, again, is there a hardship? I mean, there is an encroachment on the property line, does that affect the property rights of another individual? And their ability to maintain their property, or the applicant to maintain their property? So, I think you have to keep it focused on the request, and it's a dimensional issue.
Yeah, you see the closeness to the building, in my mind too, may be something you'd accept for a single-family situation, but you wouldn't want to accept for a non-owner occupied dual rental situation.
I'm trying to take that completely out of my mind. I don't care, right? All I'm worried about is front setback. We all agree we don't care about it. It's the side setback that we're talking about now.
There's 2, there's a side and then there's just too close to the building.
No, the one next to the building is correct distance, according to what I measured was.
It's
the
close
3.
to, the problem is
Should be 3 feet.
Yeah, it was 3
to
feet.
his house as a detached garage or 3 feet from the lot line.
Between buildings on the same lot, 3 feet.
So it's only.
So the lot line would be 2.5 feet.
So he's good on the lot line. It's too close to his house.
I don't know, I think on the lot line, he's right on top of the lot line.
No, well, we don't need to. If we deny the variances for the too close to the building or too close to the side lot line, and just approve the variance for the, was it front setback, just because it's a narrow, we can approve one variance and deny the other 2. Or I would be inclined to do that.
I'm just trying to figure out if he comes back and he has to get another approval for something based on it getting approved. Say it's okay to go duplex. And they've got enough to consider, yeah, there's a potential for solving that duplex issue with a small variance. 9 inches is what we're talking about. 9 inches is off. We've approved variances larger than 9 inches. So it's a 9-inch off. I don't care about, so all I'm trying to think is, I don't care about duplex. I just care, am I approving 9 inches and 20 inches off the front, or 20 feet off the front lot line? That's it. And you're saying that the hardship is not been for the the two-car garage, where your stance is, you're saying a two-car garage, based on it being a single use, he has not proven himself to have enough evidence there.
Well, Tommy, with due respect, if
Well, yeah, if you guys are on one way, my
If
vote
you're,
doesn't matter.
if you're, you should probably make a motion.
I make a motion to deny the request.
Paul?
I won't, not all of them, I won't
I'll second Tom's motion. So we have a motion before us, made by Mr. Hoy, seconded by me, to deny all of the variances requested by the applicant. Fair enough? Further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
No. 2-1, you failed on getting the variances.
Understood. I'll just now have to go through the lawyer and get a grandfathered in. That's all. All right. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, yes.
Well, where do we sit?
Two more.
Mr. Clark was the one, number 10, so we have Mr. Zemanek.
Or do you need someone to sit and listen to
He's probably like, you can leave now.
Sir,
Yes,
you need a variance.
yes.
What would you like to do and why would you like to do it?
I am currently waiting to do my driveway and stuff, because I had a home fire back 2016.
Oh yeah, this is the one that was burned, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, a few things changed there. Well, regardless of what changed there, the garage was held 10 feet off of the lot line for the property line between my neighbor, and that was partially because, speaking with my other neighbor, the contractor needed access to the back and stuff with heavy equipment for digging and all that stuff. And I spoke with my neighbor, he's like, if they wrecked the lawn or whatever, that's fine, you know, because I agreed that we'd fix it and all that stuff for the excavation. And then speaking with Rob, my neighbor, I asked him if he had a problem with me going right up to the lot line to make it a 10-foot slab on the side for parking when I have my utility trailer in town, which is, I pull with my dually, and that is wider than your typical vehicle. And it's not really feasible to park it on the side there. And then at the same time, my neighbor, he was saying that he is looking at replacing his shingles and stuff on his house this year. So with 10-foot wide slab, he would be able to access around to the back of his house without tearing up his portion of lawn. So which I agreed to him that, you know, I got no problem with you coming through, using it. I says I can bring my trailer, save you dumpster costs, whatever, labor from dumping your shingles out, you know, carrying them from the back and over the top, so. I'm under, from what I understand, would have to stay 2.5 feet off the property line. I'm asking if I can go
Up to,
zero,
yeah.
right up to it.
Okay, so the house burned down.
Yep.
Have you reconstructed anything?
Oh, the house is rebuilt, yeah.
The house is rebuilt?
Yeah, I'm waiting to do landscaping and the driveway to cement.
Okay. And your argument is that you've got reasons to want to park things alongside your garage?
Yep, at certain
And the
times.
width is such that you would have to go all the way to the lot line?
Correct. Without doing damage to the garage because of the eave.
Right.
You know, the low eave, maneuvering the vehicle in there and stuff.
So you're, in one situation, you're getting parking off even in front of your garage. So you could possibly otherwise put your parking in front of the garage. I would imagine the neighbors may appreciate it more if you parked along the side.
Well, the other thing too is at the corner, there is a fire hydrant, so kind of limited to with the length of the truck. and
Where's the fire
trailer.
hydrant?
Oh, yeah, there's a fire hydrant probably right about there.
Oh, all right.
So with,
How convenient, yeah. Okay, so you got your argument that you've got a win-win here. You've talked to your neighbor, he thinks
he'll benefit
he's
from it.
fine, you're fine. Why would we not be fine? I guess,
I don't know.
other than the defense of the ordinance. Questions, Tom or Tommy? Do we know what we need to know?
I think so.
Okay, sir, if you could have a seat. Think it over with you. I'm okay with this, but we,
I'm okay with this.
we're in
Yeah,
line.
negotiated settlement
Yeah,
between the
Your
neighbors.
turn.
Sounds good.
Well, I make a motion to approve the variance as requested.
I second.
Did you want to say something, Paul?
Just that neighbors change through the years, and the encroachment on property lines creates issues for us down the road, because people call in and say, well, why is that person driving on my lawn?
I was gonna ask you those after the meeting.
So, again, it's a hardship issue, I don't know, you have to look closely at the hardship. There's no private agreement here for access. This creates a neighbor conflict down the road potentially.
Well, not necessarily. Once we grant the variance, it's good. So there may be,
Well, it's
there may
good.
be, a concern of a future neighbor, but
Right.
that future neighbor has no standing because we've made that decision. So, and we made it in this property.
What-
But there's no
reasons-
agreement with the current property owner either, that there's some.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, because I'm the newest one on the board, but like, I feel like early on when I came on board, we had something similar to where there's like a shared, like, space in between. This isn't exactly the same thing.
Shared
but there's-
driveway.
Yeah, there's like a shared driveway between, but I don't know if it was conditional or they presented it, but they had like an agreement with each other.
It was a requirement, I think, of the variance, that they obtain shared access agreement.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that applies here, I'm just saying that when you go to zero, that you're encroaching basically on someone else's property.
Well,
And that goes back to the point of the property rights, as part of the variance.
Do we want to stipulate that he has to get a consent from his neighbor?
yes, but I feel like we should probably discuss that moving forward, because we take people's word that their neighbors are okay with things.
Well, he
Fair.
received a letter in the mail,
Yeah.
And he's not here.
Right.
and the other thing too, if I was to build a detached garage in the backyard, how would I access it? I'm just throwing a variable out there,
What would it be, again, was it 3 feet again?
2.5.
2.5 feet? Could you get a car through at 7.5 feet?
A car you could, but, we're
Well,
not-
yeah, but the
a
trailer,
dually,
yeah.
A pickup truck dually with the dual rear wheels and the flare fenders is wider than your typical pickup
Yeah.
truck.
I'll just say that my concern here in granting the variance is that, as I alluded to, the equipment that the applicant has is probably best parked there instead of some other way. And if I were a neighbor, I would want it there rather than some other place. So I think this is in the interests of all of the neighbors to have the variance here.
Well, we had a second. So a motion to approve, I seconded.
Yes, we're ready to vote. If you, I just offered an additional chance to discuss it,
Yep.
so.
I didn't know if we had to redo that.
Okay, no, we'll call the question then. We've got a motion and we've got a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Gentlemen,
Welcome.
have a nice evening.
You too. Do I have to hit save? Okay, I wasn't sure. It's a little bit slow, all right. The long-suffering Mr. Carpenter.
Long-suffering.
Yes, the last person always gets that.
Thought maybe you knew my ex-wife.
No.
Sorry.
That's a good one.
I was just joking.
That's good. You won the repartee there. All right. All right, what do you want to do and why do you want to do it?
Okay, so I've got a single-family house, it's really purchased as a kind of a renovation, and planning on selling it to the tenant that I rent it out to now. The front entrance to the house, okay, as you can see here, is accessed by a very small 4x6 front porch, if you will, or deck, to go into the front door. This winter, during a snowstorm, somebody who apparently was intoxicated drove off the road and took out the steps and the railings to that current deck. Yeah, it's way off. They missed the road ballot. But anyway,
It's impressive.
yeah. Of course, they took off. But in figuring out what I was going to do with repairs and insurance and all that kind of stuff, the tenant, who was in the process of securing her financing to buy this property from me, asked, boy, if you've got to fix this thing anyway, I'd really like to have a porch out here that I can actually use, that I can actually sit outside and enjoy my front house. So I got some quotes and got some ideas, or she explained what she wanted to a contractor, and applied for the permit to fix this, and found out that it becomes a setback issue because the new porch is now 6 by 16, so it's much larger than 25 square feet, which I think is what allows you the variance from the setback. So the current deck is exactly 4 by 6, so it was built to meet that requirement. The new proposed deck is basically the width of the house for the most part. And there's some sketches here if anyone wants to see it, but
We have that. I'm
yeah,
trying to figure out where's the
I
house.
attached it to.
But you're coming out 6 feet.
Coming out 6 feet, but the stairs are now actually coming off the side of the
Exactly, the
house.
stairs are going to the side.
So it's actually getting further away from the street, because right now, the existing, if I just rebuilt it as is, I'm 8.5 feet from the front of the house between the deck and the stairs. Now I'm only gonna be 6 feet, but the deck's gonna go pretty much the length of the house.
Yeah, got it.
So it's better access for her. She can go right from the driveway or up her stairs. She gets the deck that she wants, and actually get further away from the street.
But they're constructing within the front setback.
Correct. Didn't we have something similar to this like two meetings ago?
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We approved it,
Yeah,
as I recall.
we did. I said no.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
You remember?
I do remember.
Didn't prove the hardship.
See,
The
Tom.
good news is you're
Tom's
still.
I think Tom's a little younger than me, enough that he has a much better memory than I do.
Here's
Anyway,
my perspective on this, is the existing porch is within the rules, okay? When you're looking at the porch, okay? When you count the stairs, okay, the net on him, okay, because your stairs are going out this far, the net on him is actually, he's only going out 2 more feet, where he's, with the stairs, he's actually like probably 3 feet beyond you.
Yeah.
Plus, I think, I'm old-fashioned, as you can tell. You got something going across the front, it's like an old style. Now, is this gonna be a flat, or is there gonna be a roof on this porch?
No, it's just gonna, the overhang over the entrance is gonna stay, but it's gonna be open for the rest of it.
So it's gonna be more of a deck then?
Yes, it'll be with railings, and just want to sit outside and have our coffee.
And, 4 feet wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna be able to put a card table over a 4-foot deck.
Yeah. No, this is exactly what we talked about.
yeah, we talked about, in this case, you could have put a 5x5 with the existing stairs and you'd be good. And then
Yeah.
I agree with Tom's argument that you're only going out 1 more feet and you're moving the stairs to the side. Seems like a pretty good break to me.
So my other option is to rebuild what was there right
Exactly.
now, and now I'm 8.5 feet from the edge of the house towards the front, and my new deck is only 6 feet.
But wasn't it last time? It's like an aesthetic thing because you're building like it doesn't match the neighborhood kind of thing, and it was supposed to be a 25 thing because it's a stoop. It's like an entryway into the area that those houses were built in. That's what we were talking about last time. Because the deck you can build on the back of the house, no problem. But on the front, aesthetically that you're building a porch, if you will. I love porches, by the way, just as a note. Bought a house with a porch, so I could have one.
I'll make a motion to approve the variances requested.
You guys. It's getting late. Did you want to second that, or did you want me to? You second it.
Okay, I'll second that motion. We have a motion made by Mr. Hoy, seconded by me to approve the variance for Mr. Carpenter for his property on 531 Third Street. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
All right.
Sorry.
You don't have to apologize. You are what you are. You won, 2-1.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. So do we have any administrative stuff that we need to take care of? Or is
We
now
just-
the time to adjourn?
Is there's informational yet for in the agenda? I don't believe unless Paul has anything.
There's no items.
There's no items. So I-
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're done. Do we need to vote on that, or is that good enough? Good enough.
Oh, we don't need to vote on that?
We voted, but we don't need to say yes.
Oh, vote on the system.
She'll take our word for it. So we're done.
So when we're done, I have some questions.
We're done.
Oh.
I have an informational item, just non-minute type. These folks who requested the variance on Maple Street, it's like 141 or something, where they were tearing the house apart.
Yeah.
They're having an open house June